Hello, we will be starting another week. It's your second week in this course, so good job on surviving the first week. And I just wanted to walk through, this might be a little longer video, because there's a lot to go through as you noticed last week, and I've had some questions about the difference between some of the quizzes, and so I wanted to walk through all of those. The easiest way that I have found is this content browser. So you have your announcements that always pop up when you click on this course, and those are important to read. And then you have your content browser. This is where all your information, your folders are housed. So right here, lesson 2 is what we're going to be starting. So if I click on that, and you can even, another way to get to this screen is this page that says content. So after I've read the announcement, I can go to the content page. And I'm going to come to lesson 2. And the getting started is a good page. It talks about kind of the preview of what this week will entail. So here are the outcomes. That's what we're working on this week. We're going to be talking about the BYU learning model and the principles and process of that. And then the skills that we're working on, the English skills, are asking and answering questions while we're reading and while we're having a conversation. And so then we're going to apply that skill. And as you go here, this page also shows you the things that are inside the pre-gathering folder, the gathering and the post-gathering, the links to those assignments. So you can use that page, or you could just come back. Each of these up here takes you one step back. So it just takes me back to the getting started page. I can go to the pre-gathering folder. You have your listening and speaking log. That this is the first week you'll be doing that. As you click on that, it will give you the directions and details. So you're going to have a template for this. So those templates that you download, you have a spot where you have to then upload it back as an assignment. I'm going to show you that. They're listed by level, so you decide if you think you need the intermediate activities. Those are for people that maybe have the least amount of language, and those that feel like they're more advanced would go here and pick from one of these. And like it says here, each week you practice listening and speaking for about 2 hours for the week. And you have to keep track of what you do, and you have to do 5 days like it says here. You have to complete one of the activities for each of the 5 days. So you have an activity you do on Monday, a different one on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I would recommend you try different ones. In the past, I've had some students that do all listening activities, and if you're doing all listening activities every week, you're not practicing your speaking. And speaking is sometimes hardest, that you probably find you can understand and listen to more than you can produce sometimes. So I would challenge you to pick different ones that push you just a little more out of your comfort level to learn and grow. So you pick those, and it tells you, it breaks it down what to do first. Choose and complete activities from above. Download the template, write the number that you did, what you did for it, and what you learned. So as I click download, it downloaded to my computer. You all have, if you don't have Microsoft Office, to get Word on your computer, it's free for all Pathway students. So make sure that you get that set up so that you can open these templates and have them saved as a Word document. Type your name there, the date, like it says here. You must complete the activity 5 days every week. You enter here what week it was. So week number, it's going to be lesson 2. Then you put the number of activity you did. If I'm looking at that list, let me hop back here. Maybe I'm a little more beginner. I don't feel like I'm as strong in my English. Maybe I'm going to listen to some music in English. So, so I look at what number that is. It's number 4. I put 4. I say what I did. I listened to some church songs. You can even list which songs they were. Now here's the part I really want you to pay attention to. It doesn't let me highlight it, but what did you learn? So as you listen to those songs, what did you learn? Maybe some new words stood out. Maybe a term or a phrase that you had never noticed before you understood. Or maybe you had a question about a certain sentence and you looked it up and tried to figure out what it meant, and you learned what that meant. Write at least 2 to 3 sentences. So that means sentences. So you need to have for sure 2 sentences. If you want more, you can have 3. And I dock points when you only have 1 sentence, or just list the words that you learned, because you need to follow the directions there. And then what cultural or personal insights did you gain from this activity? Did you have any personal insights or learn something different about another culture in doing that activity? So you'll do that 5 times that week. So each day. I know some students that open this up on Monday, save it to their computer, and then on Monday they do an activity, type their information in, close it. Tuesday they open it back up, type in what they did for Tuesday. That way it's not so overwhelming if you just work on it every day, because you should do it 5 different days. So that's that activity. I go back to my pre-gathering folder, and as you come here, you'll see that this sheet just talks about, gives you information, so you'll read through the information, and then here is where you'll actually do the practice. So you'll actually take your quiz there. Then it has the discussion board, your initial post due Wednesday nights, respond to 3 others by Saturday night. Then you have a study skill. Here's the directions I read through. After I've read through the directions, I click here to get started on completing that quiz. And you'll see, I wonder if my view is gonna, okay, it's not gonna let me do it. Let's go back. Let's just go to the directions, because I'm not a student. The directions to remind you that you'll, after you've read through all that information, you'll click on the, let me move my face for a second. You'll click on this arrow, and that will get you to start the quiz. Like here it says, you take the quiz up to 2 times. So if you take it once, you don't get a score you like. Know that if you take it a second time, you can, but it averages your score. So say I got 80% my first time, I take it again, I get 100%. Your total score will not be 100% because it averages the 2, so you would get 90% because it takes the first and second attempt and makes an average. So I'll just keep my face hidden for a little bit so we can see all the and then as we go through, you have reading and writing practice, so there's directions, and once again it's a quiz like the other. You read through all this information with these words, read through Elder Bednar's talk, article. You'll download a template for this one, and then on your template it tells you which questions are going to be asked. And like it says here, remember to proofread and save your document. So when I download that document, I open it up, I use the article, this, to help me answer these questions. When I type in there, okay, before I save this, I would like to go to Tools. It's not going to let me on this screen, but you can go to Tools and Spelling and get it to check your spelling. Or just look through it and make sure all of the words look like they have been spelled correctly. Then you would exit, I'm not going to save it, but you would save it, and it shows you here. Use the arrows on the right to go to the next page where you actually will start the quiz, and that's where it has you upload the assignment. So you would click on this arrow. I'm hoping this is helpful and not too overwhelming to go through all this. Just find there's a lot, and sometimes it's hard to know what order and how to manage the site. You have scripture study directions, and then you actually click there to submit the scripture study assignment. Same with learning a hymn directions, and then you submit the assignment there. That's all your pre-gathering folder. You have your gathering folder, the things that you do to prepare for the gathering, attend the gathering, and then come here and the directions on how to report your attendance, and then you actually report it through this link. But only complete it after you've gone to your gathering. Then we have our post-gathering folder. More assignments, and I know there's a lot. Remember, this is a 5-credit course, so a lot of assignments and a lot of time spent each week, but I know it's going to benefit you. And once again, it's telling you need to be responding to peers on the discussion board. And I walk through the application activity. You have one of these every week. Sometimes they're the one assignment that can take a little longer. It tells you the purpose, and you're going to watch a video, reflect on this policy that you click on and read. Read 5 principles. It's a summary of the 5 principles. Ponder which one you need to apply in your life. So after you read these 5 principles, think, which one could I work on? And then you're going to set a short-term goal. And when it's short-term, it can be accomplished, like it says here, during next week's lesson. So set a goal, and then the next week you'll be working on accomplishing that goal. You can use one of the suggested goals that you'll see there, or you can design your own and write it down. So it gives you directions there. You're going to complete a template. And this video shows you how to do what I just showed you, downloading the template, typing into it, and uploading. Remember to read directions like here. Write 2 to 3 sentences to answer each of the questions. So I need 2 sentences for that, 2 for that, 2 for that, 2 for that, 2 for that. At least 2. You could do more. Proofread it, and then submit your paper in the next screen. Okay? So that's your application activity. It's really talking about the 5 principles of the learning model and how you can work on improving in one of those principles. This video is getting long, so I'm trying to wrap it up. The next thing, is vocabulary quizzes. I wanted to talk to you about this because if you click on the directions, you'll see where it says that this quiz has you write sentences and use a vocabulary list. And if I click on that, it downloads the vocabulary list for the week. So there's the vocabulary list with their definition. To determine the best definition for a word as it's used in a context, so how it's used in a sentence, or fill in the blanks. So like it says here, you have 2 parts to vocabulary quizzes. Part 1 is a writing one. You fill out a template that you download this template, and then you write sentences that use these words. You put them into sentences. I desire to have a good grade in this course. And I will be sending a video that explains each of those vocabulary words that will hopefully give you more understanding. Then part 2, it's an actual multiple choice quiz with those vocabulary words. So make sure you understand those before you go and take the quiz, because this is different than the others, where the others you can take the quiz twice. With the vocabulary quiz part 2, you can only take it 1 time. So you just have 1 chance and you'll take it. Okay, so that's the vocabulary quiz, and how there are 2 parts. One where you're actually writing the sentences with the vocabulary word, and one where you're doing multiple choice quiz. I think here's where you'll submit your listening and speaking log that you worked on throughout the week, and your learning report. It's kind of a report on how that week went. And I just wanted to let you know that I had some people ask about the post-gathering folder and if they can work on these before the gathering. And I can, I guess, put my face back up. And you can. Sometimes there are assignments that have you tell you to apply something at your gathering and then reflect on it. And so those things, obviously, you'd have to be at your gathering first before you could complete it. But a lot of these you can get started on early in the week. And it might take the entire week until and then you submit it at the end of the week. But I would make sure you at least get the pre-gathering assignments done first, and if it happens to be a Wednesday night and you're finished with all your pre-gathering assignments, you can get started on those post-gathering. Even like the application activity, sometimes those are longer assignments, so I don't think it hurts to look through that early in the week and decide how you want to manage your time that week to get it all in, because I know it's a lot. And I'm not going to do a grammar tip for this week just because how long my video is. And just a quick reminder that in the discussion board there is a question and answer board that you can go to, and questions and conversations. If you have a question that you want to throw out there to the whole class, or if you want to report on how your gathering went, we had some students share how their gathering went last week, and I love reading what you're learning and how you're working with other students to grow. So have a wonderful week. You can do this. I'm here to support and cheer you on the second week of this course, and hopefully you'll see this week's a little easier than wrapping your brain around everything that happened last week. And I know that each week will get better and you'll learn more. So have a wonderful week, and reach out, email me if you have questions, and I'm here for you. Bye everyone.